Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I am Zamzam Sabanang Busama, and for today's video, we are going to discuss or to talk about the skin structure and its function, the role of the melanin in our body, and also our hair and nail anatomies. Also, we are going to discuss about the sweat gland. So without further ado, let us begin. Human skin is a highly complex multi-layered structure, and it represents the largest organ of the body, comprising around 10% of the body mass. The main function of the skin is to act as a barrier between the body and the outside environment. This barrier prevents the entry of chemicals, microorganisms, UV radiation, and the loss of water and the body fluids. In addition, the skin plays a role in the regulation of body temperature, and it is also act as a sensory organ. So, our skin is a very complex multi-layer structure na kung saan ito ay ang pinakamalaking parte ng ating katawan. So ang una-unang function nito is nagsisilbi itong pananggalan ng ating katawan. Nagsisilbi itong pananggalan sa mga chemical, mga microorganism, UV radiation na maaaring pumasok sa ating katawan. In addition to that is our skin plays a significant role in the regulation of the body temperature and also act as sensory organ. Bakit siya sensory organ? Because kapag may nakadikit sa ating skin is nararamdaman ito ng ating katawan na kung saan nagsiserve as a sensory, nagsisend ng sense ng signal sa ating brain. So our skin structure is consists of three main parts, which is the epidermis, the dermis, and the subcutaneous fatty layer. So let us first discuss the epidermis. So ang ating epidermis is the most outsider parts of the skin layer na kung saan ito yung nahahawakan natin na parte. So meron itong kapal from 0.06 to 0.08 mm. So bakit magkakaiba-iba? Take note na ang meron tayong parte ng katawan na may makakapal na epidermis at meron na namang sobrang nipis na epidermis. So saan ba matatagpuan yung pinakamakapal at pinakamanipis? Take note na ang may pinakamakapal na epidermis ay ang ating palm and ang ating yung sa paa. And ang may pinakamanipis naman is ang ating eyelid. The next part naman is the dermis, the second layer below the epidermis. And meron itong kapal na 3 to 5 mm thick. And it composed of the network of connective tissues. Mainly yung mga collagen and elastin na kung saan that embodies in micropolysaccharide gel. So, dito matatagpuan yung mga tissues, sa mga collagen ng ating katawan. So, dito rin yung mga nerves, mga blood vessels na kung saan is connected sa iba't ibang parte ng ating katawan. So, dito rin yung matrix and skin appendages such as the hair follicles, sebaceous glands, and sweat glands penetrate through it. So, dito rin matatagpuan yung iba't ibang uri ng mga glands sa ating katawan. And the last part is the subcutaneous fatty layer. So, the thickness of this inner layer of the skin is a several millimeter, and it is composed mainly from the adipose tissues which insulates the body, act as a thermal barriers, and provide mechanical protection against physical shock. So, let us proceed to the role of melanin in the skin. So, melanin is the primary pigment determining human skin color produced by melanocytes in the epidermis provides the essential protection against UV radiation by absorbing and scattering UV rays. So, ang melanin, ang primary function nito is ito yung nagbibigay pigment, nagbibigay kulay sa ating katawan. So, kapag marami tayong melanin, meaning to say is mas dark or mas pigmented yung kulay ng isang tao. So, ano pa ba yung mga essential function ng melanin? So, ang melanin is nagsiserve din as a protection against UV rays, UV radiation by absorbing the UV rays. So, it prevents DNA damage, reduce skin cancer, and act as an antioxidant. Increase melanin levels, also reduce vitamin D3 synthesis. So, bakit kapag marami tayong melanin is bumababa ang level ng ating vitamin D3? Kasi, ang vitamin D3 is nakukuha natin sa pamamagitan ng sikat ng araw. And the melanin naman is it blocks the radiation coming from the sun. So kapag marami yung melanin, mas nabablock niya yung radiation and therefore hindi ganun na-absorb ng ating katawan yung vitamin D3. Alright. So let us proceed to the key role and characteristic of melanin in the skin. That includes UV protection, antioxidant. So yun na, nagsiserve ito as a UV protection. Melanin act as a natural sunscreen, absorbing and scattering ultraviolet radiation to protect skin cells from DNA damage. Antioxidant and free radical scavenger, it neutralizes free radical generated by sun exposure, reducing oxidative stress and inflammation. Skin pigment types. Sa skin pigment types, meron tayong eumelanin and pheomelanin. So, sa eumelanin, ito yung pigment na brown and black pigment provide significant protection. Ang pheomelanin naman is ito yung red, yellow pigment which offer less protection and can generate free radical. So, kapag mapapansin natin, yung mga taong more on ng melanin na nire-release, yun yung tinatawag na eumelanin. As we all observe sa mga tao sa South Africa, like yung mga maiitim, yung mga Ethiopian is, 'di ba, mas matapang sila sa sikat ng araw kasi nga meron silang eumelanin na kung saan brown and black pigment providing significant protection. On the other hand naman, the pheomelanin is ito yung red yellow pigment. So mapapansin niyo sa mga American people is, 'di ba, kapag nasisikatan sila ng araw is namumula sila kasi nga it has a less protection and can generate free radical. That's it. Melanogenesis regulation, the production of the melanin or the melanogenesis is stimulated by sunlight, causing tanning, which is protective response. Okay, so 'di ba yung mga Americanos is nagbababad sila sa init or nagpapasikat sila ng araw para umiting. So yun yung concept nito. So para sila ay mangitim, ma-absorb nila yung sunlight. Sa distribution naman, produced by melanocytes and transferred to keratinocytes within the epidermis, where it forms supranuclear cap over the nucleus to protect the DNA. So yun yung distribution niya. From melanocytes is nagtitransfer siya sa keratinocytes na kung saan ito ay nabubuo sa epidermis. Alright. And then nakakabuo ito ng supranuclear cap. So, ano ba yung health implication dito? The health implication is, while protective, insufficient melanin increase risk of skin cancer, while excessive abnormal production can cause hyperpigmentation disorder like melasma. So, kapag kulang or mababa yung level ng ating melanin is mas mataas yung chance na magkaroon tayo ng skin cancer. Is it because wala tayong masyadong protection na makukuha against the UV rays? And kapag sumobra naman or excessive yung melanin ng ating katawan is maaaring itong magresulta ng hyperpigmentation like melasma, acanthosis nigricans, and so on and so forth. The next one is the hair and nail anatomy. Hair and nail anatomy are protective skin appendages made of hardened
Dead keratinized cells derived from the epidermis. Key structure include the sharp chapal follicle with arrector pili muscles and the nail plate with mattress and body. They provide protection, sensation, and insulator. So let us break down the hair and nail anatomy. Let us first begin with the hair anatomy. Hair anatomy consists of two main parts: the non-living hair shaft above the skin and the living hair follicle below the skin surface. The shaft comprises the cuticle or the outer layer, cortex, the strange collar, and medulla or the core. The follicle located in the dermis contains the bulb for hair growth fed by the dermal papilla. So, ang ating hair anatomy is consists of two main parts, yung living and non-living. So, let us break down the key component of hair anatomy. Hair shaft, or ito yung visible part, composed of dead keratinized cells. This part consists of three layers. Meron itong cuticle, or yung outermost layer made of overlapping transparent and scale-like cells that protect the inner structure. The cortex, or yung sa middle part nito, that provide hair strange elasticity and texture containing melanin granule and determine color. Medulla, the innermost core often absent in the fine or light colored hair. So, ano naman yung hair follicle? Below the skin, a tube-like structure in the skin that anchor the hair consisting of hair bulb, the base of the hair root, where new living cells are created through division, and the dermal papilla, located at the base of the bulb that contains blood vessels and nerves that nourish the growing hair. So, meron namang sebacous gland that produce sebum oil to lubricate the hair and scalp. Nagre-release ito ng oil na kung saan it lubricate the hair and sa scalp. Arrector pili muscles, ito yung maliit na muscle that attached to the follicle responsible for causing hair to stand up, or the goosebump, hair growth and composition. Yan, yung sebacous ay yung arrector pili muscle natin. Ito yung nagsistimulate na kapag tayo ay ginugoosebump, is tumatayo yung mga hair natin sa katawan. Composition primary made of the protein keratin along with carbon, oxygen, hydrogen, nitrogen, and sulfur. So, ang pangunahing mga elements na kung saan is ito yung bumubuo sa ating hair is protein keratin, meron din carbon, meron din presence of oxygen, hydrogen, nitrogen, and even the sulfur. Sa growth cycle naman, hair growth in a cycle consisting of anagen. Ang anagen ito so yung growth, catagen o yung transition, and telogen or yung resting phase ng hair. Let us proceed to the nail anatomy. So, ang ating nail naman, the human nails, is a complex structure of keratinized dead epithelial cells designed for protection and sensation, comprising the nail plate, mattress, bed, and surrounding skin fold. So, ang ating nail naman is a complex structure na kung saan meron itong keratinized dead epithelial cells na kung saan it designed for protection and sensation. Okay, it serves as a protection sa ating finger, and then it protect as a sensory. Let us break down the key component of the nail unit. First is the nail plate or the body, the hard, visible, translucent, and keratinized part of the nail, which is lightly curved and has longitudinal microscopic ridge. Ito yung hard, pinakamatigas, and visible, translucent, and keratinized part ng nails. Next is the nail matrix, the area under the proximal fold that produce new cells driving nail growth. It is the only living part with a visible portion known as the lunula. Next one is the nail bed, the skin under the nail plate that lies between the lunula and the free edge, na kung saan it contains blood vessels that nourish the nail and gives it pinkish color. Next is the cuticle. The cuticle, a layer of the skin that cover the roots of the nail, acting as a seal against bacteria and dirt. Next is the nail folds. The skin folds that surround and protect and serve as a support to the nail's plate and three sides. Next is the free edge. The free edge naman is the distal white part of the nail that extend beyond the finger or toe. Ito yung sobrang kuko sa ating mga kuko, na kung saan ito yung mga lumalagpas sa ating nail, nail and nail in the finger and toe. Next is the hyponychium, the thick skin located under the free edge of the nail which act as a barrier to protect the nail bed. So, ito naman is ito yung sa free edge na kung saan nag-act as a barrier to protect the nail bed. Lastly would be the sweat glands. So, ano ba yung sweat glands na tinatawag? The sweat glands, primary eccrine glands, are crucial for human thermoregulation by secreting water-based fluid onto the skin surface which cools the body through evaporation. When body temperature rise, the hypothalamus triggered this process, allowing sweat to absorb body heat, reduce core temperature, and prevent overheating during exercise or heat stress. So sweat glands, ito yung nagsistimulate na nagre-release ng fluid sa ating katawan. So kapag masyado nang mainit ang ating katawan, ang ating hypothalamus is nat-trigger, and with this it release fluids and then to cooling the heat in our body. So sa pamamagitan nito is mape-prevent yung overheating ng ating katawan during exercise or during any types of activity that involves our body to work. So sa pamamagitan nito, nag-evaporate ang ating katawan. Ina-evaporate nito yung fluids and ina-absorb ng fluid yung heat sa ating katawan. What sweat made of? Your eccrine glands produce sweat that about 99% water. That's why the sweat you notice on the hot day feels so watery and evaporate quickly. We think of sweat as salty because sodium chloride, the two components of table salt, make up of most of the remaining 1%. Sodium and chloride are key electrolytes and do important job in your body. So, ang ating eccrine gland is nagpo-produce ng sweat na kung saan it is about of 99% of water. Kaya nga kapag tayo ay pinapawisan is water yung lumalabas. Kasi nga ang ating eccrine is nagre-release ng 99% of water. So, bakit 99%? Asan yung 1% nito? So, kaya salty yung ating sweat because of the presence of 1% sodium chloride, na kung saan is ito yung dahilan kung bakit nagiging maalat yung ating sweat or yung ang ating sweat, because of the presence of sodium chlorides that electrolyze and do the important job. But other than sodium chloride, the following substances are also present but in a smaller amount or maliit na amount lamang. That includes potassium, vitamins, trace mineral like calcium, magnesium, copper, zinc, and iron, proteins and amino acids, toxin like heavy metals, and bisphenol A, BPA, a very small amount. Bakit present ang ilang mga ang ilang substance na to? Because sometimes because of the food that we intake, 'di ba? Depende sa mga kinakain natin, 'di ba? Kapag nagre-release kasi tayo ng sweat, nagre-release tayo ng toxin sa ating katawan. Take note na hindi lang sa pamamagitan ng pag-ihi and pag-poop ang way of releasing of the toxin in our body. Maaari din sa pamamagitan ng sweating. Sa pamamagitan nito, nare-release yung mga proteins na hindi kailangan ng ating katawan, mga amino acids, mga heavy metals sa ating skin, and yung mga substance na kung saan is hindi kailangan ng ating skin, such as those mentioned earlier. So I think that concludes my presentation. Shukran, thank you, and wassalam.